Hello and welcome to another edition of the One Team We Agree On. I'm Jillian.
And I'm Kyle. How are you doing today?
Doing well, thanks. And how are you?
I'm good. And we got some very special guests on today. And if you want to take the introduction.
Yeah, so we are pleased to welcome Darra and Rome Griffin. They are parents of Jordan Griffin, obviously, but very excited to talk to them about the player pathway and about the swag program as well, and really dive into youth soccer in the Philly area and the academy and all that goes into that. So, really going to be great to get their perspective.
Thank you guys both so much for coming on today. We look forward to talking with you guys. So
You
um, just introduce yourself real quick.
can go first. Can go first. Okay. I'm Dara. I'm Jordan's mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I also work for the Swag Soccer. I'm the admin slash community ambassador for the Swag program.
And I'm Romaine Griffin, Jordan's dad. Of course, Darra's husband. I'm a radiologic technologist. I work for Chopping King of Prussia.
Oh, wow.
Right.
All right. All right.
Awesome. All right. Well, yeah, thanks so much for coming on. And well, let's dive into it a little bit here. And before we do, just everyone listening, make sure to listen to us wherever you get your podcasts, or you can find us on our YouTube channel, on our various socials. We're at the One Team We Agree on Facebook and Instagram. We're at TOTWAG on Twitter and Blue Sky, and you can find me at silly double underscore Jilly at on Twitter and on Instagram, and Kyle's at Coach Almany on those as well. So, but yeah, let's dive into it. All right. So, Derek, you're from Barbados, correct?
Yes, I
Originally?
am.
All
Yes.
right. So, just can you talk about your childhood there a little bit, and how that maybe was different than in America. And did you participate in sports before you moved to the U.S.?
All right. So most of my life is here in the U.S. I'm more American than I am
Okay.
Barbadian, to be honest. I came here when I was 10 years old. I didn't do any sports there. Schooling was a little different than it is here. When I came here throughout high school, I did participate in track and field. That was the only thing that I liked. We ran a lot as young kids. But other than that, that was the only sport that I played throughout my days here in the United States. Barbados, I didn't do any sports at all, but here was just track and field.
And Rowan, did you do any sports growing up?
Yeah, I was a basketball player. Got into it, started playing a little bit early on, and then going into my high school years, like we were started playing CYO. So I played that for 2 years. But yeah, I was a big basketball fan.
I see that you got the Sixers. Go Sixers.
Go
They've been
Sixers.
actually, yeah, they've been actually entertaining lately.
Philly everything.
Same,
There you
same.
go.
I'm Philly everything, and if you didn't already know, he's not. That's why we're the one team we agree on. He likes the Timberwolves for. It's a long story. He likes all different teams, but
It's
yeah,
okay.
yeah. He can, not everyone can be perfect.
He's
So
allowed.
yeah, yeah. So, um,
Yeah, so let's dive in a little bit about the swag. Like, how did this be, especially for you, Derek, how did you become involved with this and like kind of that journey for both of you into the swag?
I feel like swag was form more so. I don't know if you guys know about that 2018 team,
2008.
the 2000, I'm sorry, 2018, 2008 team that Jordan was a part of
Hmm.
some years ago. And that was a very special group that was formed back then by Steve Graham. And I feel like swag was depicted from that the young athlete, the young children that came into that sport. And I feel like Steve was like, this sport is a big thing, but there are a lot of African American and immigrant kids out there that don't have the resources or, it's they're underfunded and, you know, they're good, talented kids, but they just can't afford the sport. And he was like, hey, let's go and develop this program and go into the inner city because in the inner city it's just basketball and football. Even for me, growing up, I didn't know anything about soccer. I actually discovered soccer more so when our daughter started playing when we moved to Delaware. And I think she was about
She's like probably like 6 or 7.
6.
So it was like, what was that, 2010?
So like 2000, yeah. So that was the first time I actually got to be involved with the sport. And then of course Jordan joined. But I say that to say like in the inner city, it's about basketball and football, not soccer. So when I spoke to him about, doing something on the side because I wanted to have the ability to be available if Jordan needed something with the school situation, with them going to the school, it was a little different and interesting. So I was like, okay, no job is going to say, hey, you can leave whenever your son calls or if the school is dismissed and his schedule is, a little different. So Steve was like, hey, I have something for you to do. So he brought me into the swag program and I've been here since 2021, I believe, working in, administration, community ambassador, and, many different titles. But yeah.
Yeah, I think like we're both swim coaches and we kind of run into some of those issues too, just the barriers. Like there's so many great athletes out there that could partake in the sport and just, helping families, bridge those barriers and get involved, I think is huge because there's so much untapped talent out there and things that kids can really get into. And I think it's wonderful, the
Mhm.
outreach that's going on.
So just diving in a little bit more, like since you've joined, like what have you seen the growth in the organization swag, and kind of like its mission and values moving into it?
So since I've joined, we went from a handful of kids to a ton of kids now. Um, I think right now, we transitioned over to like an academy type
Hmm.
program. It's more structured. Hopefully, our goal is to train these kids and give them the resources that they need. And who knows, they could be a Jordan Griffin going into the Union Academy, transitioning into, Union II first team. So for me, what I've seen is the growth, the coaching. Our coaching staff is amazing. Um, we have coaches from Philadelphia Union. We have professional coaches. We have coaches that played the sport. Ryan Richter is one of our coaches. And then we have the Spanglers who's been here at the start of the very beginning of the program. So the coaching has been amazing. They train like academy kids, like, 3, 4 days a week. They play league games, they play tournaments. So that's a big change over the last 3 years that I've seen here. And the kids are getting better. Like you can see the development in the kids um, from the beginning, from when I started to now. Some of them are still here, some of them have graduated, but some are still in the program. And the development is definitely big there. And I could tell you because I think he's more of a swag fan than I am. He'll say, "Hey, any swag games this weekend?" I'm saying like, my son's not playing. I'm not trying to go watch any more soccer unless it's him.
But
You
it's
know.
it's our life, and they are very fun to watch.
Yeah.
Like that exposure, them getting that exposure at an early age, getting exposed to something other than football and
Hmm.
basketball in that community, and then the parents getting on board and locked in to know and being very dedicated, because it's a overall commitment not only for the kids but for the
Hmm.
parents too.
Yes.
And then you go watch them play on the weekend, and you just see all the talent there. But that's kudos to the training, and then that commitment piece is huge.
Yeah. 100%.
Mhm.
Yeah, I know Ryan Richter's involved. You said we have a whole bunch of like
You have John,
John Shear.
Wilson,
Yeah, I know.
Eric Pfeffer.
Yeah, Ryan said we were talking to him at one point in the season. He said he's known Jordan since he was like 8 or so, and he really talked about that growth that he's seen, just especially this season. But that's pretty special to have known him way back when as well. Like just
I
to
think it's
see that.
actually younger. I actually just sent him a picture recently.
We were doing something. We were wrapping Christmas gifts over the weekend. I was going through my phone and I saw a video of him actually doing like little 1v1 with Jordan, and then a picture of them when they won a trophy at the academy, like junior academy stage. And I was like, why don't you send this to Ryan? Like he probably, it's been a long time. So
Yeah.
just made us realize how long he has known Jordan and how long like we've actually been a part of this organization overall.
Hmm.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I coach the developmental side of our swim team and I know for me like stuff like that's super cool. I'm sure he would appreciate that. Yeah, because when I see some of these kids that I coached from when they were like real young and just starting out and now they're up on like the national team and stuff like on our team, it's so cool. But, it's so cool to see that journey for
Yeah.
sure.
It
Yeah,
really
it's
is.
amazing. Yeah, it's
You're
100%.
amazing.
Yeah. So and then yeah, actually yeah, you go ahead, Kyle.
okay.
Yeah.
So you talked, how did this partnership with the union, you kind of mentioned like swag evolved through Jordan's time, but for was the union involved from day one? Let me ask you that for
With swag?
swag. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought okay. I was
Sorry.
um I would have to say probably yes, because Steve is part union
Yeah.
owner.
Yeah.
So I would say yeah.
Looking at what's been the biggest barriers and obstacles as this thing has grown.
Um I actually was just talking to someone about this recently. I feel like it's like from what I see sometimes with the inner city is transportation
Hmm.
because all the trainings are held at Westfit uh, the Sports Flags
Hmm.
facility. So I see like the transportation piece of that. I also think sometimes like this sport is expensive because you travel, you have some traveling pieces or hotel stays you have to go to. I think that sometimes can be a barrier. Like I don't feel like a lot of families have that um, support like other people do. And I think sometimes that's a hindrance. And also part of the problem with committing because like scheduling,
Hmm.
maybe both parents are working full time and the time in that swag takes place, which is normally like 6 to 8 p.m. most days. They can't get there in time and it's like they don't have no one else to say, hey, I'll take the kid, you know, like other families may have.
Hmm.
So I think some of those are some of the things that I see. And from talking to the families, that can be, a hindrance. But we do try to work with, the families to make sure that we assist however we can to make sure that the kid is getting something, even if they can't make all the training days. Hey, these are the things you can do at home in the meantime. So.
Yeah. We run into that sometimes too with some of our programs. So I work for a inner city, especially with youth sports and a lot of things that we run. That we've actually had to partner with like local transportation companies to get the kids picked up, dropped off at the
Hmm.
Y at the end
Mhm.
of the day. So no, it's amazing. And it's not just in New York, it's in Lancaster City as well, just making sure these kids, because parents work in multiple jobs, like you kind of said, or have other things going on with multiple families, and kids, just gonna take the bus home. So we've been working with that. So
Oh
I
yeah, and public transportation is like not very good out in
that
Lancaster and
yeah, no,
York and all that area. So, but where we're from, but yeah, no. So
Or they
what
have
are,
multiple kids that are doing multiple sports. Oh,
oh,
yes,
sorry. It's like a lag.
no, you're
I said
fine.
they also, some parents have multiple kids
mhm.
that are in multiple sports or at different locations. So, those are some of the other things too.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. So what are the future goals of the organization moving forward that you could share?
Goal. I would say one of our biggest goal is to try to um, for me, I would say get all these kids into the U Philadelphia Union
Hmm.
Academy. That would be the biggest goal, right?
Hmm.
Um, but I think if we can get 70, 80%, which I think we can do, make those numbers, I think that would be very successful for swag. I mean, we're training these kids and developing these kids, to someday uh and enter into the Philadelphia Union. So, you know, that's our goal. Like develop soccer
Hmm.
players, develop great players that when they not just to get them into the union, but when they get there, make sure that they stay there, so
Absolutely, absolutely. And so let's dive in a little bit to your son's pathway to this point. So, how did Jordan get involved in soccer?
he
Was he
loves to
always a
tell the
soccer
story.
player? Yeah, yeah. Was he always a soccer player?
Um,
Go ahead.
So, truth be told, since I was a basketball player, I was grooming him to be a basketball player. I remember when he was born, like we would get up on Saturday mornings and I would just get a hoop out and put a ball in his hand and make him like act like he was taking shots and stuff like that. So that was my plan for him. But what happened ultimately is we transitioned from Northeast Philadelphia to Delaware
Hmm.
because the point was trying to like the swag program, give offer more to our kids because we were growing up in the Northeast and I couldn't even take them to like the playground or whatever because the neighborhood was so bad. So it
Hmm.
was more opportunity in Delaware. We both had family there and I was raised there for a couple years. So we decided to make that transition to Delaware to try to just open up more opportunities for the kid, better education, exposure to sports and whatever else was available. And I actually think that once again, once we moved there, once he got big enough, we put up a hoop in his room and we would play basketball on weekends and stuff like that. So that was my plan for him, but thank God that wasn't his path. And like she said, when we got to Delaware, all of our kids were exposed to sports when we signed them up for school. So my oldest daughter picked baseball, my youngest picked soccer, and he was too small to do anything. So he was just watching them like do whatever they were doing. And I think he gravitated to the soccer piece because of my younger daughter. Now, the hard thing was
Middle daughter.
my middle daughter, the youngest daughter. Now, the difficult thing was he's the only lefty in the family.
Hmm.
So when it got to a certain point with the basketball thing, one day we were playing in his room and he was doing everything left-handed. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like you were shooting with your right hand a couple days ago. And then he just kept going left hand, left hand. And I'm like, wait a minute. I can't show him anything because I'm a righty. And thank God he transitioned to the soccer piece. And once again, like watching my youngest daughter play, he was exposed to coaches that saw something in him. So like he just wanted to play. He was always like a really fast kid. He had a nose
Hmm.
for the ball. I don't know if you guys noticed, but he was a soccer striker most of his life. He
Hmm.
just recently became a left back within the last 3 years. But he was also the fastest kid and he just wanted to get the ball. So he would be with my daughter playing, coaches would he would we would go to her training and her practice, and her coach would be like, you can play, but you got to do drills first.
Hmm.
And he would just cry because he just wanted to play. But when I look back at everything, the technical part helped him out so much that he didn't realize then, but he's reaping the benefits of right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. So last year, or was it it was the beginning of this year. They're starting to blend. We've been covering the first and second team. They're starting to blend together. Um, we got to interview Kellen, Jameer, and Jordan. I did, and I was down training. And I forget who it was. It was one of the academy coaches because I was like, "Yeah, Jordan's a defenseman," and he goes, "No, he was a forward,
He
just like
was,
Neil Pierre." And that was the first time I found out that Neil Pierre at one point was a forward, and I was
Yeah.
like,
yeah,
"Oh, I did not
yeah,
know that." They're like, "Yeah, he's transitioned over
yeah,
the last couple of years." So no, I'm glad you brought that up because
yeah,
it's funny. Because you see some of these defensemen in the academy that come up, and then all of a sudden they're moved to either midfield or defense, and you see the
yeah.
qualities that they've had.
Hmm.
I've had some conversation with some staff like Rick Ryan and
Yeah.
Arlen. last year just about that. It's very fascinating.
Yeah, and then
How
there was Eddie who Red Bulls wanted to like make as
to
a
make a
defender, and
defense,
then he's
and
like, nah.
now he's forward. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, and he came to the Union. But
do you want to ask the question that you wanted to ask? I
oh,
think this would be a good
yeah. So no, I'd be really interested because, you guys have been involved with, this pathway, Jordan starting out so young and coming up through doing the swag and doing academy and making his way up to Union 2. Just can you and doing national team stuff. Can you just, like think about your time? Have you received any advice that you thought was really good about the whole parenting side through all this? Or like a piece of advice that, you would love to pass on to parents navigating this pathway?
So, so I think we like just like parenting a kid, I think we
Hmm.
learned as we went along. Like
Hmm.
not knowing what we were getting into when we transitioned from Delaware to this program, like we knew he was successful in Delaware,
Mhm.
but not knowing what we were getting into. But it was, first of all, it was like the commitment thing that I mentioned earlier with the swag. Like it was an overall commitment because our daughters were in high school, their lives, their friends were in Delaware, but the whole family had to uproot and come here so he could go to the academy. So it was a commitment by all of us to allow him to pursue his dream and to put everything else on the shelf. But truth be told, they wouldn't do it. We wouldn't do it any other way because we've reaped so many benefits from making that decision that we
Yeah.
didn't know at the time. But now we look back on everything, we were like, everything had a purpose and a reason. And while we were in difficult situations, because his whole journey hasn't been
Mm.
always up, it's been peaks and valleys.
Mhm.
So it was like when we were going through those valleys, like, what do we do? Like, I guess we just got to ride this out and see what happens. And now that we look back on it, it's like everything happened for a reason just to get him to this point
Yeah.
and hopefully beyond. And I guess the advice I would say is first and foremost, you got to have some kind of spiritual foundation. If you don't have God in your life through this journey,
Yeah.
you're going to be in trouble because there were some days where he wasn't playing. He didn't know what to do next. He was crying. And as parents, you always tell your child, like, hey, you're good. We got faith in you. Like everything's gonna work out. But you hear that from mom and dad all the time. So it's like you're like immune to that, but after a little while. So it got to a point where we didn't have answers.
Yeah.
So we just had to like go now to a spiritual route. And I feel like once he started to have that relationship, his whole pathway changed,
Yeah.
his whole outlook changed. And like it's like the light went on. And it's like no matter what I go through, as long as I have this to stand on, I'm gonna be okay.
Yeah.
So I would say that the advice is spiritual foundation as your foundation first and foremost, and let God direct the rest of that.
Wonderful. I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Yes, very much. And you kind of talked a little bit about, but as a family, what is, balancing the academy life, the soccer games, but also the family time? Uh, what are challenges that maybe people don't really understand about the just that whole thing and just making sure that you're a family and like you kind of said, I mean, like putting God first as well. Like, how'd you balance all that?
All right. So we are definitely family oriented over here. Like
Hmm.
anybody that knows us knows that. Um, And one thing, so as he explained, our middle child played soccer and she was really good. She was really good.
Yeah.
I think she was
Hmm.
better than Jordan at the point. But anyway, don't say that. And we just, when COVID hit, it kind of shifted her pathway a little.
Hmm.
So one day we were driving somewhere and she said to us, don't worry about me. Focus on getting Jordan where he needs to be. That alone was it was hard. Like I was just melted because she not sacrificed, but she gave up what she wanted to do or wanted to be a part of her life so that he can go about the journey that he's on. So I also think because of what she wants to be a
Physician
physician
assistant.
assistant. So she was like, I can't focus on soccer and that. So just put your time into him. So my two daughters, they have been on the journey with us, and um, whatever, wherever, however, they're always on board with everything when it comes to him. Like our lives revolve around Jordan pretty much.
But they're like, but you know how like it could be. I don't know whether you guys have siblings. Like when the
Hmm.
spotlight is on your sibling,
Mhm.
especially the youngest, and he's the only boy, but they're his biggest fans.
Biggest
Yeah.
Like
fans.
when something great happens for him, like although when we're in the house together, it's constant fighting and bickering because he doesn't know how to say like I love you guys, I miss you because he's a 17-year-old. So his thing is to troll them and to cause problems and say get out of my room when he
Hmm.
knows deep down in his heart he wants to spend time with them, but he doesn't know how to say that. But truth be told, like whenever something goes
Yeah,
for him, bad or good, like they're on the phone checking on him constantly.
yeah,
So we're a tight-knit group, but and it's because that we've all committed to make sure that he gets what he needs to pursue his dream.
yeah.
I think we're just all so bought in that family time is super important. But even when we're in different areas, my daughter being in Pittsburgh, my oldest daughter being here, and me and Dara being home, and he might be on the road with Union II, we're like
We FaceTime.
communicating,
We
hey,
FaceTime a lot.
every night he's going to bed, before he's going to bed, he's telling everybody, no matter where we are, sending a group text saying, I love you guys. Good night. See you in the morning.
Every night.
Like that's all like a testament of everybody committing to make sure we help support him so that he can pursue his dream.
Yeah.
And then when any of them win, we all win. So
That's
That
fantastic.
is
I
fantastic.
mean, yeah, I can really I'm the oldest of four in my family. My younger sibling, we were all in sports, right? But my two youngest sisters, they were like the star athletes.
mhm,
And yeah, and I just love supporting them, like,
yeah,
I was okay, but my siblings were like they were good and nothing made me happier than just kind of supporting and
right.
watching them, cheering them on. So, but yeah, family support is everything and
It is.
and
It
oh
is.
my goodness, yeah. Um, so to see Jordan get the opportunities with not only the Union but the youth national team at this point, just what's that been like for you?
It's been cool because I think there was a point where when he was younger and he wasn't getting the calls that, you know how it is when you get to a certain age and you see everything around you, you never want to get into that comparison
Yeah.
thing because what do they
Mhm.
say? Comparison is a thief of joy. But the truth is you can't help but see what's around you, especially
As a kid.
being in this environment, it's everywhere
Yeah.
at every age group. So you see things, you start to have aspirations for yourself, and you're not getting the calls or whatever. So you put your head down and you keep trying. But I always look back at everything he went through, like I said before. And I do believe had he got those opportunities earlier, he might not have seized the
Yeah.
opportunities because he wasn't ready.
Mhm.
And the funny thing, the ironic thing is when he first got his, it wasn't even a call up, it was an ID camp that they used to do. And I'll
Mhm.
never forget, his name wasn't even on the list. And they put his name on the list and he was told, like, hey, he was a striker at the time. They was like, they're not going to play you at that striker position. They
Mm.
might put you in the midfield or left back. That was his first exposure at left back. And we went and watched, and people were like, he did so well. And then he came back and they were like, he was hearing chatter like, we might put you at left back. And at the time, he was like, nah, they're not going to
Mm.
do that. So I think one game they tried it. Then they put him immediately back as a forward. But it was like in the back of our minds, like, is this really going to happen? Because he's been a striker for so long. But truth be told, he got more opportunities as a left back than he ever did as a striker.
Yeah.
And now, if you ask Jordan right now, like, hey, go play up top, he's like, nope,
Nope.
don't want to do it. He's like, no, because now like Ryan said before, he's learned the nuances of the game. He's like,
Mhm.
now he likes that physical contact. Now he wants to be that person where I used to be a striker. I know what it takes to shut me down. I want to be that guy that tries to shut that winger down or keep you from scoring or put in that hard tackle or make your attacking difficult. And I always say the good thing about him is he played with his back to the game and now
Now
he
he's playing it
sees the
for.
game.
Mm.
So now, as a forward, being a forward as a left back, you know if you are a forward where you want the ball. when you make that run. You know, if he makes that run, you know
Mhm.
where you would want that ball. So you know that's where you need to place it to help that person in that position be successful. So everything happened the way it was
Yeah.
supposed to. When we look back on it, we laugh, but I think that had he got looks earlier, he wouldn't have been ready. But now you look at Jordan, and I remember that ID camp that I told you about. The first thing he said was, I don't want to squander this opportunity. I want to take advantage of it. And I thought that's what he did
Yeah, and kind of like you said earlier, God has a plan for everything,
for everything.
So,
Yeah.
here's an opportunity. Jordan, like you said, seized it.
I know
Yes.
the plans I have for you.
Yep.
Yes.
But it is true.
Yeah.
It is
It's
true.
true.
I remember, talking to coworkers even when I coached in college, like just saying to my athletes, you don't know when your time's going to come or that opportunity's going to come, but you always have to be ready. It might not be fair now, but you might have that opportunity.
Very
And when
true.
it comes,
Yeah.
you need to seize it.
Yeah, and it was
Very
great to
true.
see the growth. I mean, especially once Isaiah LaFleur went on loan and that spot really opened up for Jordan to, be a starter and really take control. That I mean, that just the growth was really fantastic to see, and just that journey the whole season. What a season for Union too that
Yeah.
was, and yeah,
Really.
just oh yeah, like
It really was.
so much
And,
growth.
you know, I think the things we saw, obviously covering from the press side, the media side of
Hmm.
things, I can say the biggest difference I noticed was from the last one, was it January to September when I'm interviewing him, how much he's become comfortable interviewing,
We see that with a lot of the kids.
and
Yeah,
and
for sure.
Ryan says that to Jillian and I all the time. That's part of their development,
Right.
is that understanding you have a bad game, you have to be ready. But
Yeah.
I
So
I wanna, you have to be ready to answer those questions, and that's part of their development, as you said. But
yeah.
I'm curious, like Jordan gets his first goal against Toronto. What was
Mm.
that moment like?
Yeah.
Beginning his first professional goal as MLS Next Pro.
I don't want to talk about
I'll
All right, we
never
don't have
forget
to
that
talk
night.
about it. We don't have
The,
to talk.
the, she wasn't there. Like she had
Oh.
I
the
can't
night
miss.
the night before she had a root canal emergency surgery on her
Oh,
mouth. So she was down. And the funny thing is, we're getting ready for the game. I'll never forget that night. And I knew she couldn't make it. And he was getting ready, and like she's laying in the bed, and he's looking like, is she coming? Because she doesn't miss anything. And I was like,
Mhm.
Jordan, she's not feeling well. Like, we gotta go. And I just like sometimes I try to read the energy going to the game. Like sometimes I look and I'm like, is he ready to play tonight? Or is he like, mom ain't here, so I'm not gonna give it 100%. But I think he understood like what was going on. We got in a car and he seemed like he was okay. And then that when he scored, I think she was at home watching the game. I don't know how she got up and how she got conscious because she was on painkillers. But she videoed her reaction and my daughter's reaction to the goal. And I'm like, well, mom's up. I was like, she saw it. But it was so
Yeah.
cool because I was there and I never for how it is for a
mhm.
defender to
Mhm.
score is a big deal because that's not really their job. And I know Jordan is like a forward thinking person because he was an attacker at one point, and he had to really learn to judge when to go forward and when I
Yeah.
gotta play my
Mhm.
defensive duties. And I think sometimes um it gets lost because I think he can read the game and see like, okay, I really need to lock down on defense. I can't join the attack like I
Mhm.
normally do. And
Mhm.
some people on the outside looking in might be like, well, he's having a bad game because he's not getting forward enough. But he's reading the game to see like, this is not where I'm really needed tonight. I need to really lock it down back here today. And sometimes you'll talk to him and he'll be like, I didn't have a good game. I'm like, Jordan, you put in a solid shift defensively. You got to remember that's your number one priority.
Yeah.
If you score 10 goals and you concede 11, you didn't do your job. But I say that to say that night being in that atmosphere, I think when I look at it now, the best thing for me was the reaction from his teammates.
Mhm.
I love the fact that Isaiah, who I tell him all the time, he's a stand-up guy. I never
Yeah.
had a conversation with him. I'm
Mhm.
just looking at the interaction when Jordan was on the field. There were a lot of guys that I saw watching in the stands that looked like they embraced him to try to help him be the player that he's now becoming. Where some people might look at you and be like, "You're fighting for my position. I'm not going to
Yeah.
Yeah.
try to take you under my wing. You're my competition." I didn't see that from Isaiah.
Yeah.
So I saw Isaiah's face and his reaction. I saw Kellen push him, and I know they've been together forever.
Hmm.
I saw Cav point at him and like Cav and him been together for. I love the reaction from his teammates.
Yeah.
They were super happy for him, and then he was happy. So I'll never forget the way his teammates reacted to it.
Yeah.
That was the big thing for me.
Yeah, I think it's really telling. Like they seem to really have a great chemistry, the whole
Mhm.
team. And that led to so much of their success too. I mean,
Yes.
you saw it on and off the field. And I don't you weren't at that game, I don't think, Kyle, but
No, I just remember you
yeah, but I
texting me
was up in
afterward and
the
stuff.
press box and I said to one of the other media members, I was like, at that point, I think maybe 16 of the players, there's a whole bunch that had scored. It was just all spread out. It wasn't like one like main goal scorer at that point. And I'm just like, you know, I'm like, we need a Jordan goal. We haven't had a Jordan goal yet. He's one of the only ones there on the field didn't score yet, and he needs a goal. And then like he scored, and then that person looked at me like, yep. When he scored, and then when Oscar scored, I was like, all right, let's go.
Yeah,
But I was like, everyone needs to have a goal. But
yeah.
no, no, that was really awesome though. And I know I interviewed him after,
Oh
and
yes.
he gave a great interview. But yeah, I did notice and a lot of these guys they get more well spoken with
Mhm.
the
Yeah.
practice. But it was great to get his reaction to that. And I know like Ryan had really great things to say about his growth and just how awesome that was for him. So.
Yeah, and I kind of want to. I know we're going to talk about the U-17 World Cup, but I want to kind of ask you both, like, diving back into the academy for a second, and specifically the school. Can you guys talk about what, in your opinion, does the academy do well in preparing these guys, not just for soccer, but maybe for life as well? Because we all hear covering MLS, Next Pro, the academy, how great the Union Academy is. It's one of the best in U.S., if not in the world. What makes like the resources available to these players, families, what makes it so great in your impressions for both of you?
I think for me, when Jordan first came over, he was like on my younger side. I think he came over into the academy in sixth grade. I think for me, it's the whole like support system
Mm.
and the way that the soccer program is merged with the school and everybody's on the same
100%.
accord. Like knowing like, okay, Jordan is at this level where he's going to be with Union II. So can I give him his assignments ahead of time?
Yeah.
Can I give him a little bit more grace as it pertains to passing that assignment in? Um, I think that's huge. I think that the teachers understand all of these kids' pathways aren't the same, but
Yeah.
we can support them all the same. You know what I'm saying? Life happens,
Hmm.
sometimes you may be great the next day and you might have a family issue the next day. And you might not be thinking about that assignment that's due by midnight because now I'm worried about what's going on in my home. And I feel like the teachers, if you communicate, which is the biggest thing,
Mhm.
if you communicate, which is hard for boys at some point because they're boys.
Hmm.
And you're not always focused on school. And I think my wife can attest to this, like his education is still top priority. You know what I'm saying? Like we know soccer is your dream, but you
Yeah.
got to always have a plan B.
Yeah.
And you got to have something to fall back on because once soccer ends, you don't want to be here looking like I wish I would have, could have, should have. So I think the academy and the school being on the same accord is huge. The teachers being lenient to a point, not to a fault, but holding you responsible.
Yeah.
But if you communicate like, hey, can I get a little bit more time when I submit um for the deadline to submit this assignment? For the most part, I think they understand what's going on. And then I think the boys all being together in that environment is huge. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Sometimes you're in school and everybody's not like-minded. We might not be
Mhm.
sharing the same goals. You might want to be a doctor. I might want to be a lawyer. You might want to be a teacher, you might want to be a coach, whatever. But they all share one thing, and that's soccer. And then to be in that environment, everybody being like-minded, and then the support system that the teachers and the school offer with the soccer piece is super huge to me.
Yeah, I agree with that. And like for me, like he said, the education piece is big for me. And Jordan and I, we battle with that back and
Every
forth.
day, every day, every
But
day.
he already know. I don't care. Education first. It's
Yep.
so funny we talk about college, and he, for the longest time, he's always said he's not going to college. He's not going to college. I said, "Oh, you are." I said, "I don't care how you do it, but you got to fit it somewhere into your life."
Hmm.
Like you said, you have to have a plan B.
Mhm.
But I like the fact that, I am that parent that checks his canvas constantly
Hmm.
to make sure, because again, it's a lot of pressure and this is not a normal environment for these kids, right?
Mhm.
So I check canvas just to make sure he's staying on top because I feel like if he falls behind, it's going to frustrate him. It's going to be too hard to play catch up. And it's like you're traveling and you don't want to fall behind.
No,
Yes, he does know what he needs to do, but sometimes it is overwhelming.
he's a boy.
Um,
He's a boy. He's a
so
17-year-old boy.
I just communicate, the good thing is he will reach out to his teachers, but from my my peace of mind, I reach out to just to make sure that we're all on the same page because I don't know what he's reaching out saying or he'll say something to me and I'm like, okay, let me just reach out for myself just to get a little bit more clarity. But I do feel like that communication with the teachers, the students, the flexibility, it's just been amazing because a normal school you couldn't do any of this.
Yeah.
Yeah. And as a teacher, I really appreciate this focus on education and,
Yes.
and the, parental involvement as well. Like, yeah. And education is a top priority, of
It
course. It
absolutely
all,
is.
it all works together here. And so, no, that's really interesting to hear
Because it was the
that
same way
aspect.
with me growing up during my swimming career before college. Like both my parents were educators. And I would travel around the country, sometimes some swim meets. And yeah, it was, or if it was me and my dad driving back from North Carolina and he had to teach the next morning, they made sure like you are going to get your schoolwork done.
Hmm.
Oh, I want to rest between prelims. Nope, you gotta get that paper done,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so there was that balance. And I appreciate to hear that the academy does that and
Hmm.
they give some leeway, but also you have to do your share too,
Yes.
Yeah. You have to be
that's
held
great.
accountable and
I
everything. And
love that.
no,
Absolutely.
that is great. So, all right. So just had the U-17 World Cup not long ago.
Mhm.
Really exciting. And just love to hear about, your viewpoint of that. Just talk about, how was the trip and, but also some of your favorite experiences there and some memories from that.
Well, first of all, you hear Qatar, you're like, Qatar? I'm not going to Qatar.
Yeah.
Then it's like, well, if Jordan's going to Qatar, I'm going to
She's not gonna
Qatar.
miss it. She's not gonna miss it.
So, it was a little bit of an adjustment. I had to do a whole new wardrobe change because of the dress code there.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
actually, I got there and I'm like, it's pretty flex here.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
the food was amazing. I was worried about what I was going to eat every day. Every day I ate morning, noon, and night.
Yeah.
Um, the World Cup itself, just the environment, like when I got there for the first game, I'm just looking around and I'm like, these people really love this sport. I mean, we love it, but like you look at countries like Tunisia,
Morocco,
Morocco,
Argentina.
like the African countries, the support is overwhelming.
Yeah.
USA, listen up, we need more. But it's just amazing, like how they come to support, and it's just the energy, like.
It's different.
It was just, yeah, it's not like you go to a game and you have that energy, but at the World Cup, the energy was like, it was just, I mean, I had an amazing time.
Yeah. If that was any idea of what the 2026 World Cup is
Mm,
going to be, and we're hosting it, we like soccer fans are in for a
Hmm.
huge
yeah,
treat
yeah.
because for them to be 17, well, first of all, let's go back to the flight.
Oh yeah.
Long flight. I say
How
that
long?
because I don't like flying.
Okay.
Like
Hmm.
the very first time I ever flew was when Jordan went with a bunch of the kids to Portugal. That was my first time ever on a plane. That's in almost 9 hours. Okay, I'm good with that. 12 hours going. Thank goodness we sat together and we sat with some of the other families of the kids that went there was great. The 15-hour flight back, not so much. But the atmosphere, Qatar in general, like we were just watching, they had a show, they had
Destination Qatar.
something on the news the other day about Qatar, Destination Qatar,
Hmm.
and they showed some of all of the aspects of what to do there. They even showed the U-17 World Cup. It was an amazing place to visit.
Yeah.
The people were super nice. The accommodations were amazing. The Aspire Academy, where they actually held the
Yeah. Oh
venue,
my gosh.
was
Yeah.
amazing. They
Yes.
had
Yeah.
so much going on. The pitches were amazing. The media coverage to the fans,
Yeah.
the whole environment was just a great environment. And very little upset that he really didn't get a chance to play much because unfortunately he caught the flu
Mhm.
going down there, which was totally unexpected. And
Hmm.
I know the second game came around and he was supposed to play, and then he called us the morning of the game, and he sounded like
No,
I
the
don't know.
doctor called
The
us.
doctor called us and it was like he has flu-like symptoms and like so, and all he thought about was he's like, I can't be down here and not play.
Yeah.
Like I want to play.
Yeah.
So it was sad to see that he didn't play a lot, but just to be a part of that team and have that experience, like it's something that he'll talk about years
Yeah.
from now. And then the relationships that he got to
Yeah.
build with some of the other players, because we're usually opponents. We're
Hmm.
playing against each other, and all of these players are at different stages in their career already, and they're only
Yeah.
17. So
Mhm.
now you get to be around the professional kids that are getting first team minutes, the ones that are getting second team minutes. They got USL players, you got academy kids. Everybody's there. And the way that he said that everybody got along
Yeah.
was great for me to hear. Like the fact that they prayed together,
Hmm.
the fact
That
that
was big.
they did a lot of stuff, that the prayer part to me was huge. And
Yeah.
I think when he said that, I was like, even if I wasn't here, he's in good hands.
Yeah.
And then the coaching staff and just having a lot of people around you that you've played with before, you've played against, but now we're on the same team and we're like-minded. Let's go out here and chase this.
Yeah.
It was a great experience
Great
for me.
experience.
And I'm pretty sure it was a great experience for him.
Yeah. Architecture, like
Everything.
I mean,
It
yeah.
was so
And so
clean.
clean.
We
So
we
clean.
rode the metro to the venue every day and it
Yeah.
was spotless to the you can eat off the floor. It
Yeah.
was amazing. It
Wow.
was
Still some
such
cultural things you had to follow, but
yeah.
it was not
Hmm.
hard to do.
Nah, it
Yeah.
wasn't. It wasn't.
That's fascinating because, yeah, like we've never been anywhere like that. And just that long of a flight, I don't know if I, he knows, like, I can't sleep on flights either.
Me
Like,
either.
that was
Me either.
brutal when we were coming back from Hawaii when we went to that. So I can't even imagine. But just, just amazing for him to, and for all of you guys to get that cultural experience to, you know, take in all of that. And, for the players, just getting to play some against some of the best kids their age in the world. Like
Yep.
that Morocco game was something.
It was something.
The
It was
crowd was something, my goodness.
amazing.
But
And I'm
yeah,
kind of glad, not to cut you off. I'm
yeah.
very
No.
glad that he was able to be there with Kevin, Jameer,
Jameer
and
and
Kellen.
Kellen. Yeah.
I
Mhm.
was
Mhm.
so happy when I saw all four of them because they have a history.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
I was like, also history, but chemistry.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
I was just like, if he had an opportunity to go, I wouldn't have wanted him to go with four other players besides them. It was such a great thing that all of them got a chance to be there.
Yeah, I thought that was fantastic. I mean, for the Union to have four players, from their club, I mean, that just shows, the strength of the academy and the program there. And really, they represented the Union so well. And all those guys getting in was fantastic.
And yeah,
Yeah.
getting back to your point, no, it's interesting because listening and watching those games, you hear the um, cheering from like the Morocco side, South Africa side, all those, and this is for a U-17 World Cup. This isn't the
Hmm.
Exactly.
big one. Well, I
Exactly.
remember was watching Frankie
Yeah.
with the U-20 World Cup.
Yeah.
Like it was the same thing, and
Hmm.
people were like, "Oh, okay, it's soccer." I'm like, I covered the Club World Cup this past summer in
Yeah.
Philly, a couple matches. it's not nearly going to be as big as the World Cup. And
Yeah.
those fans
We're crazy.
were like you said, they were crazy,
Mhm.
but it's so cool to watch. And I remember I wrote a couple of the articles just talking to people that have flown from Morocco to, spending good money to come to the United States to
Mhm.
Yeah,
watch these games. And they were so happy to get to see their club,
yeah,
you know, or
Mm.
country play. So I think, for me personally, I think a lot of people, even the casual, like, oh, what's the World Cup? I'm going to go to a game. I think they're going to be very eye-opening as to
I agree.
what soccer is,
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mhm.
maybe because maybe they just fall football, basketball, baseball, and hockey, and now they're going to be like, wait a minute, what is this?
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I think it's going to be great. Like the
Yeah,
fact
yeah,
that Philly's hosting World Cup games, I mean, hopefully this will bring so many more into appreciating soccer, I think,
and that's
Yeah.
the
because
thing.
yeah, and I mean, I'm hoping to get to whatever World Cup games I can get to, you know.
Yeah.
I don't care who's playing, but um yeah, I know one thing. I'm really glad that Morocco's not in the same group as the U.S. because I'm like
yeah.
U20s,
Olympics,
U17s.
U20s. Yeah, I'm like, oh
Yeah.
man.
Olympics.
Olympics, yeah,
Yeah.
it's all that.
So,
But
They're good. They're good though.
They're
They're
good.
good.
they
they
Yeah.
are.
are though.
And
Yeah.
their fans are the 12th player on the pitch. For
Oh
real.
yeah.
For
Hmm.
real.
I mean,
Crazy.
I forget the club was from Morocco, and who were they playing? They were playing a big time. Who were they playing? Were they playing Juventus? I think that was the team they were playing. Anyway, like their fans did not stop chanting, even then when they were down. They just
Yeah.
kept going like they were winning like 5-0. They kept. I was like, this is incredible.
You
Yeah.
should
So,
see the American side and our side during that game. And we were sitting there trying to yell. And I'm like, we're not going to outbeat their yelling. So let's
Yeah.
just, you know.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the guys fought hard. That was since I was at work on my lunch break and I'm watching like the PKs there at the end. I'm like, oh my goodness. But
Yeah.
oh man, just the back and forth Kevin, going at the fans there and then them giving it back and well, that was interesting. But no, it's just great to see those guys excel though,
Yeah.
on the world stage there. And that's such great preparation for hopefully the future,
Hopefully.
as they
Hopefully.
continue to grow through the sport and make their way through and, hopefully keep going up and up on the pathway.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
Hopefully.
Absolutely. And I
I'm
want to
excited.
just thank you guys because I think I really realize sometimes like the second team doesn't get as much coverage
Exposure.
as the first team. But like when I start really following you guys, the one team you agree on, like Jordan will come and grab my phone. He's like, Dad, you're always on the one team you agree on. I'm like, dude, like they're showing you love. So yes, I'm on this. I'm on this. Yes, I'm on it. I'm all about it. And I think I really understood when they played that game. It was the friendly game up at Wistfus Indoor when they
Oh,
played Ryan's old
hmm
team. And I
Hmm.
think you posted a picture of Jordan from behind. I was like, I had to find out who she is. I was like, she's showing my son love. So, and I think I've been a fan ever since. But I want to say kudos to you guys for covering these boys, the way that you do these young men, I should say, they're not
Yeah.
boys, and taking an interest in their path and like their journey and just the ups and downs of it, but
yeah.
also shining a light on even when they're not having such a good transition or a good season or whatever. I think that's huge to them. I know it's huge to Jordan, and it's huge to me as a parent because sometimes the social media aspect can be a little bit vicious
Oh
and
yeah.
they
hmm
forget that these kids are
Kids.
kids
Yeah.
Hmm.
because of the way that they play and the atmosphere that they're in. Sometimes you think that they're men and they're really kids that's
Yeah.
just beginning to figure life out, not even soccer, but just life. But
hmm
you guys always shine a positive light on situations. And I really appreciate that because it's huge as a parent on the outside looking in. You guys don't know these kids' journey really, but you always bring something positive to the table, and that's huge to me.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yes, appreciate it.
We love the stories. We love,
Hmm.
getting the word out there because there are so many great stories with these kids. I mean, the first team gets a ton of notice and we cover that and everything, but honestly, like with the second team and with the kids coming up through academy, like there's so many great stories and seeing where these guys are coming from and
Yeah,
seeing the journey.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And not just with the second team, just with the union itself. There's so many great
Yeah.
stories,
Yeah.
like the
For
swag,
sure.
like
Yeah.
that
Hmm.
people
For
don't
sure.
really know about. And
Yeah.
it's like somebody just tells me that, and it's like I did not know about that. Well, we got to find out more about it. So
I have a swag deck. I'm going to send it right over and you can see it from beginning to end.
yeah, I mean, and that's the thing is there's a lot of stories. Everybody, I was talking to somebody recently. You can only cover a first game team recap so many ways, right?
Hmm.
Like everybody's going to do that, but there's other stories within those
Yeah.
stories that we try, and that's kind of what I've always liked about writing, and I kind of used that passion and kind of got back into it thanks to a couple other friends that cover the Philadelphia Union, and it's kind of led to this with
It's
us
Yeah.
doing this.
appreciated.
Yeah.
It's really
Yeah,
appreciated. Like it's appreciated.
And I think I
Yeah.
met Jill that same day
Hmm. Yeah.
that game at that game. I didn't know who
Yeah.
you were either.
Yeah, no, and that game was a lot of fun. I took off work that day and went down. I wanted to like go, cover that, and I'm really glad I did because it was a lot of fun to see the guys playing that friendly, and you know, you kind of just get up close there and get to see all that. But it was a day well spent. So
yes. Well, thank you guys so much for coming on again.
yeah, we
We
really
really
appreciate your
appreciate
time.
it, and
Thank you guys for having us. Really
Yes.
do. And we
yeah,
love what you do. Keep doing what you do. We're supporting you guys from here for sure.
Yes.
yeah.
Thank you. We appreciate that. And we're looking forward to what the future holds and hopefully you guys are getting to enjoy some, off season right now
Yes. Yeah.
and things will be heating up before we know it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, for sure.
it's always so short. So all right. So that's been an
New episode of One Team We
yeah,
Agree.
and thank you to Romaine and Darra Griffin for coming on with us. This has been fantastic. And everyone go check out what the swag has to offer. And um,
www.the-swag.org.
I'll put that in the description along with the link you can donate as well. I saw there
Yes,
is
you
a
sure
donate,
can.
Well, thank
so
you.
Yes.
we're gonna put
Thank you.
that in there as
we
well.
will definitely plug that.
Thank you.
You
And,
bet.
and until next time, I'm Kyle.
I'm Jillian.
And we'll
All
see
right.
you at the
You
game.
guys.